Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, aka Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. And guys, I have some Vanderpump Rules tea for you today. And it is from the Vanderpump Rules After Show that airs on Peacock. If you guys are not watching this after show on Peacock, don't walk to Peacock and watch it because it is full of juicy details, tea, clapbacks, everything that we want and need from our Vanderpump Rules crew. They do this show every week. It's with all the cast members, and they talk about all of the scenes that were featured on the previous night's episode. And let's just say they are not afraid to confront everything head on. And this week, Ariana is clapping back at Schwartz, and Tom Sandoval reveals some very interesting new details about his relationship with Ariana and Raquel. So I'm going to get into all of the moments you guys need to know about, but before I dive in, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. So in case you missed it, make sure you check out this week's Vanderpump Rules recap on Bravo Breaking News with my co-host at Lisa Not Rinna. We covered all of the scenes from this week's episode, including Schwartz attacking Ariana's character and the iconic Sir Ali scene with Scheana and Tom. But let's just say the cast members have a lot to say about it as well. So in this week's after show, they kind of start off with the whole Ariana and Schwartz scene. So as we know at See You Next Tuesday, Schwartz is trying to get the group back together, and Ariana basically puts a stop to it immediately, saying that she does not want to spend any time with Sandoval. And Schwartz kind of has a lot to say about this during the after show. First, it's almost like he's not taking any of this seriously. He's saying, yeah, Ariana thinks I am one of the culprits of the Sandoval affair, and she's taking it all out on me. And it's like, dude, yeah, you were a culprit. You were a big part of it, hiding this from the entire group for pretty much the full length of the affair at this point. So yes, she has every reason to be angry. Then they dive into the ego part, and Schwartz is still standing by this. He feels a little bad about it, but he does feel like it is accurate at this point. And Ariana is clapping back, and she shares that she actually hasn't even talked to Schwartz one-on-one since the reunion. Now, I don't know when this after show is actually filmed. It kind of seems like they filmed all of the after shows for the season, or at least a large portion of the season at once. So this is not directly after they filmed this episode by any means. But it seems like Schwartz and Ariana's relationship is not going to get any better anytime soon. She has not spoken to him. There is pretty much no friendship there at this point. And so while Schwartz is pretty much backing up the claim that Ariana's ego has gotten bigger, leave it to Tom Sandoval to butt in and give his take. And let's just say, dude, you're digging yourself deeper and deeper, because he pretty much shares that this ego that Ariana has is one of the reasons why their relationship failed in the first place. He says this kind of ego is what I dealt with behind closed doors, and she was always making it seem like their intelligence was not equal. Like, Tom, stop making up excuses. It's excuse after excuse. He blames Ariana for the affair, and this is yet just another way he's putting the blame on Ariana. And that isn't fair. He's pretty much saying that this is the real Ariana coming out. And again, like I said in the recap, this has nothing to do with ego, guys. Ariana simply just does not want to be around her ex who publicly cheated on her. It's pretty simple and has nothing to do with ego. And Ariana explains it well. She's basically like, is it an ego because I'm working? I have jobs. She wakes up every morning and has a different job, whether it's a brand collaboration, whether it's Dancing with the Stars. She's booked and busy. And does that give her an ego? No, she says that she doesn't feel like she's any more important than anybody else. She just has all these opportunities coming her way. And if anybody else on the cast had that same thing, would they pass it up? Hell no. So she is doing what anybody else would do. And I think let's leave ego out of it. But Scheana does have something to say about this, because she claims while she doesn't think Ariana has an ego, she does say, she's like, well, I don't really hear from Ariana that much anymore. She's so busy. And, as much as I reach out to her and ask her how she's doing, she never reciprocates. She never asks how I'm doing or what I've been up to. And so I think that's a little backhanded shade on Scheana's side. I think that there is still a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of negative feelings toward Ariana at this point. So I don't know. Will we see that mend? I know they're on okay terms right now, but it was interesting to hear that from Scheana. Now let's switch gears to Sandoval, because he did open up quite a bit about his relationship with Raquel at this point. The producer asks when Raquel actually stopped talking to Tom, and that was right before he went on special forces, which I think is around the time she went into the mental health facility. So that makes sense. From what I gather, they were writing letters to each other for maybe a couple weeks when she first got there, but maybe throughout the course of her treatment, she realized that was not a healthy practice and slowly but surely backed off. And guys, the next thing I'm about to tell you is so laughable because he doesn't understand why she cut him off. He has no idea why she stopped talking to him. He claims that he always empowered her to make her own decisions and, be her best self, when it is quite the opposite from what we learned during last year's reunion. According to Raquel, Tom was completely manipulating her into lying to the group and into doing things that she didn't really feel comfortable doing in the first place. He also shares that her parents had a lot to do with this decision, that after all of the Sandoval news broke and they were all over the headlines, her parents hated him and kind of encouraged her to stop talking to him, which is completely understandable. So now he's blaming the parents for Raquel not talking to him. He also blames her publicist and says that once she got the publicist, that it was all about optics, optics, optics. So it was really a matter of Raquel distancing herself from Tom just so she could look better. And honestly, Tom, you struck out once again because Raquel was in a mental health facility. I think that this goes beyond optics, and I think it was more about her mental health having to distance herself from this manipulative narcissist in order to prioritize her own well-being. So once again, Tom is placing blame on everybody but himself about Ariana's relationship, about Schwartz, about Raquel. I mean, the list goes on and on. Will this man ever take accountability? And lastly, he does bring up the open relationship rumor. He says that he never told Raquel that, and he believes that Raquel never told anybody else. But with Nima saying it on the podcast and Scheana backing it up, I don't know who to believe anymore. So those were the top moments from this week's Vanderpump Rules After Show. Again, if you guys are not tuning in, make sure you guys go watch. It is on Peacock and airs every Wednesday after the Vanderpump Rules episodes on Tuesday. They are full of juicy details and tea, so make sure you go watch. Otherwise, I will be here to cover them all each week, along with our Vanderpump Rules episode recap. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news.